Marco Jacobs Media.
I'm going to go out the way, yeah?
Was het jeans?
Okay, good evening guys. Thank you so much for joining us, Rassie and Jesse. We've got 15 minutes, so let's do first 10 minutes English, last 5 minutes Afrikaans for Rassie. Happy, Mike?
Rassie, not a perfect performance, but is that the kind of game that you want, the kind of workout you want in this preparatory block?
No, it's frustrated. It was a very frustrating game, and it's when they leave a couple of the big names home. You expect this kind of down in the gutters fight because it's young guys who really doesn't have anything to lose. But we knew they would man up, and they certainly manned up in most departments: scrums, mauling, defense, attack. So no, it was a proper test match. When we were 3 or whatever up, and we scored a try and there was obstruction, and then we lost some momentum, so it was a frustrating performance, to be honest.
But a game you'd rather have now at this stage of the season?
Yes, not with that team we put out, because there's not a lot of guys there that's new to it. Krappies was new, here and there. Jan Hendrik was new. So I don't think we have too many excuses. So yeah, I'd rather have it now. You're right. And still I don't know. I mean, was it a 15-point game, a 20-point game? I'm not sure. But certainly it makes the selection for next week interesting, because they could have easily here at the end come back into it if one or two of their tries were disallowed. So a bit of luck, and one of our tries also disallowed. But they performed really well, and we definitely tried to impose our way of playing on them, and they didn't allow it.
Rassie, part of that frustration must be the lineouts in that second half, especially that wasn't up to you guys' standards.
Yeah, I think overall, and it's different guys who knock on a ball, and I mean, it's like if 5 different guys knock on a ball, I made one mistake, but it's 5 in total. If you miss a line out jump here and there, or throw here and there, so it was just a hell of a lot of mistakes, and I would love to pinpoint what's the reason for that. We're still glad that we won. I really couldn't pick up in the week that this is how we're going to perform, but maybe that's a sign that you must never think that you're all set in the game. But yes, it's luckily all fixable. But yes, frustrating.
Rassie, were you guys caught out a little bit by that sort of impressive rush defence that they put on you there? Sort of a defence that you guys are more known for, to smother other teams. Italy did it quite well today.
They did. I don't know how many tries did we score?
6.
Yeah, so if you score 6 tries against the rush defense, you're doing pretty well. But we practice every day against the rush defense. So, but they certainly gutsy. The Minoncello, the 10 was brave, the 9 was brave, all 3 loose forwards was brave. I think half time they made almost 120 tackles, and you'll think then somewhere they'll give in. But then they turned up the heat in the second half. So, yes, the rush defense was something we expected. I think we could have scored a few more tries, but 6 is not too bad. But yeah, they defended well.
Rassie, normally when you send on your bomb squad, things change and the momentum shifts, and that didn't happen today. Did that also disappoint you, or did it surprise you?
I think we sent that on because in the first 10 minutes of the second half it was like stop start, then a prop was down, and then the line out, then the try was disallowed, and then it was a wait a little bit, and just didn't feel they get intensity into the game in the second half, and being that stoppages, and I'm not saying they're doing that, we also had stoppages, we tried to most, because the guys we put on apart from RG, was not really bigger guys than Wilco. Vincent is not bigger. Bongi and Malcolm is more or less the same size. Jan Hendrik, he's a youngster coming into them. He's not a. So we tried to get the intensity and the speed up a little bit. Koch certainly made a little bit of a difference when he came on. The frustrating part was not just not dominating, but also the game was stop start. It just didn't feel like we got any intensity into the second half, which was frustrating.
John?
Rusty, just a word on the defence. You guys scrambled well, but conceding 4 tries in the second half must be disappointing.
Yeah, it is, and what they did really well with our ballers was legally, not illegally, slowing it down and holding us up in the tackles a little bit, and we attacked from, I thought, from slow ruck ball, and then the tries that they scored were quick, and we never got to actually set, and they got real good momentum. And that was the frustrating part. They seemed to be able to switch on and off from a break of 3-4 minutes with the injury, and then they switched back straight on, which we didn't do. So I thought, obviously that's worrying to concede 4 tries.
Rossi, we spoke obviously a lot about the negatives now, but what do you take as positives out of the game?
I think that we I don't know how many changes that we made. The positive is we won. The positive is we scored 6 tries, even with a maul that didn't function, even with a breakdown that wasn't great on attack, even with a counter-attack that wasn't awesome, we still scored 6 tries. And we have to understand what the Italian team was put out here. It was really an energetic, young bunch of guys, and we couldn't quite break them. And I think there was a stage here, like 10 minutes into the second half, where if a try was allowed just after that, we could have actually stretched a little bit. But I guess, I don't know, 43, 45, how many points did we get?
42.
42 points is not too bad, but I guess if it was 42-10 or something like that, but I thought everybody would expect us to beat them all proper. But we scored 6 tries, and I guess the good thing is we're frustrated that we didn't score more. So I guess that's a positive, Brennan.
Jesse, you called it on Friday when you said the rugby world was crazy to think it would be just a complete write-off of Italy. On the field itself, how did you find the game unfolding?
Yeah, I think like Rusty's mentioned, Italy they're extremely passionate nation, and I think they pitched up here tonight very energetic, and I think that showed in their play. We didn't get exactly what we wanted with all the quick ball on attack, and then on defence as well. I think obviously not happy with those 4 tries, but like Rusty said again, we got the win, and there's a lot of things for us to work on. I think we drive extremely high standards in the squad, so we'll get to PE and work on plans for next week, but definitely a lot for us to work on.
Coach, you mentioned that it might now inform what happened tonight, might inform next week. In which way is that going to inform your decision for the team next week? Internally we've sort of 13, 14 guys that we said, listen, you'll definitely get next week a run. But then now we built the bench or starting lineup around those guys, because some of those 13 or 14 guys that we already announced for next week internally, some of them might move to the bench. Some of the real standout players that play today, we might give a start again. So we won't discard the guys who played there, just the makeup of the team, handling what Italy threw at us, because they threw a lot of physicality at us. I mean, normally teams, if you make 120 tackles in the first half, you'll think they break in the second half. So it's a team that's fit and passionate, and we'll have to make sure the team that we put next week on Port Elizabeth is not just a team that can go 50, 60 minutes. It must be a team that can go 80 minutes. So it will be the bulk of the guys that we nominated last week. It's just the other 9 guys that we must pick. Are we going to pick them in the starting lineup, off the bench, some stability there. But obviously guys like Sasha will be back and those kind of things. It's just now who will be the other 9, maybe playing with a guy like Kobus or with Grant back. So we'll just have to fine tune now, take stock of the injuries. I think just Damien de Allende had a bit of a hamstring. Other than that, no real serious injuries, just a few bruised and egos.
Coach, you had a very experienced team out there, but in the midst of all of that, there was a debutant in Vincent Chituka. How would you assess his first official cap as a Springbok? you see, what you wanted to see, what are some of the things that you'd like to see him work on as he integrates into the Springbok?
I think you now know what Test rugby is like. He's played the game, he started the game. Again, I think he was very busy. I think, not that it's my place here to talk about players' individual things until we've chatted to them, but I think he certainly was not standing back if you compare to the rest of the Springbok team playing today. He was on the same physical level, but I don't think at all our physicality or our intensity was where it should be, and that includes Vincent. But not because we single him out, because I thought the whole team, but he's got a bright future and he's starting to get into the roles and understanding what we want to do. But those things, I'm not talking just about Vincent. All 8 must scrum, all 8 must maul, all 8 must contest in a line out, all 8 must work at the breakdown. And we didn't do that well today. But he's got a good future ahead of him. I think he can be fairly happy with how he's gone so far.
Last English question.
Hi, Rassie.
Yes.
Congratulations on the win. You said in the week, and you've said this for years, you don't measure your success on the scoreline, you measure it in a lot more detail when you go through the review.
Yeah.
With that in mind, is it going to be a hard review this week?
Yeah, it's frustrating because it was really a lacquer week. It was like we into it and things went well and it was nice and physical, and I think maybe we as coaches sometimes make a mistake with that, and I want to sound philosophical if that's the right word, but you feel, we're ready for this game, but you need to drive it even more when it's going so well during the week. So no, it's not the players who made the mistake, it's us as coaches who also didn't press the right buttons, do the right things during the week. So we can't just point fingers of them, so we will have to relook. And again, give Italy credit. They manned up and they flipping buckled down and gave it to us, but we should have handled it much better, and we'll start with our coaching staff to get that right.
Right, 3 or 4 Afrikaans questions?
Rassie, die Bokke is die wêreldkampioen, die nommer 1 op die wêreldrangwys. En die Afrikaanse vertoning is dalk 'n aanduiding dat hierdie jaar moeiliker gaan wees om voor die res te bly.
Ek dink so. Ek dink dit gaan moeilik wees en as jy op Afrikaans nie. As ons kyk na die toetse wat ons moet speel, Italië se eerste 2 games laas jaar in die Six Nations, hulle is net Frankryk wat hulle regtig gesmash. Ek dink Ierland met 4 punte verloor of so. So hulle kan vasbyt. Hulle is regtig 'n span wat kan vasbyt. As jy net kyk vir Nieu-Seeland en wat daar met Frankryk, hy is Frankryk se derde span en Nieu-Seeland het 'n 4-punt wen gehad. Dit was 29-28 tot aan die einde. So daar's klein verskilletjies en ons op 95% is en hulle hardloop op 110%. Dan is dit so games soos wat was die margin? 20 punte.
Dit was
18 punte. Jy weet so ons 18 punte beter is 'n span wat sonder baie van hulle sterre gekom het. Jy weet en ons het klomp van ons ervare manne gekies. Ek weet nie of hulle nog steeds first choice is nie, maar ervare manne gekies. So ons daar jare voor lê.
Nog so 2 Afrikaanse vrae?
As jy het baie momentum verloor by die breakdown en jy het natuurlijk nie beste baljagters gespeel vandag. Is dit iets te bekommer na die Nations toe, veral met Australië en Nieu-Seeland wat spesialiseer op hulle breakdown?
Ja, kyk, as jy praat baljagters, dan sit meer in die defensive kant wat 'n ou baljagter is. So ek dink in die attacking kant, mens mis definitief 'n ou soos Sia wat hy is altyd 'n ou wat hy maak seker die afbreekpunte is skoon wanneer ons die bal besit het. En dis wat 'n ou soos Vincent, en nie wie dan altyd Pieter sê van die ander kant gehad, maar Vincent vind nog sy voete waar en wanneer is hy verantwoordelik om dinge reg te kry. Ek dink Marco is hulle die game stadig en mooi gaan kyk. Marco sit 'n halse klomp werk in by die afbreekpunt wat min mense sien. Regtig fisies. Ek dink wat hulle baie goed gedoen het op ons bal is hulle het al 5-6 ouens hard gebyt by die breakdown. Hulle was nie altyd nommers op hulle voete met defensie, maar hulle het hard gebyt. So ons het of 'n stadige breakdown bal gekry of hom verloor of hulle is bietjie afgecoach van die breakdown. Nie dat ek sê die skeieregter het verkeerd gedoen nie. Hulle was baie clever daar gewees. So ja, ons breakdown was 'n issue vandag gewees.
JT, laaste een.
Rassie, ek wil sommer net vir iets vra, nie oor die wedstryd nie, maar daar's nou baie gesê daar uit die noorde uit oor 2021 se Britse en Ierse leeu's. Ek sien jy het ook iets op Twitter gesit daaroor. Die enige kommentaar op Warren Gatland se aantyding.
Ja, ek dink dis mense elke storie wat daar buite is, gaan vertel oor moontlike Kammersdag goed wat gebeur en dan gaan daar, en dis ook eintlik maar wel het met die vandag stop, want ek wil maar net 'n voorbeeld gebruik. Daar is soveel goed wat mense elke keer hoor van elke oefening wat en ek wil hê die mense met die idee kry en dis die tipe goed wat agter die skerms aangaan. Ek bedoel eers dis daar is soveel snaakse stories van afrigters wat al ander afrigters probeer uitvang het en dis nie 'n nasty ding wat 'n mens so in die koerante gooi op hoor sê nie, want dit creëer net ongemaklikheid en alles so. Ja, ek sal graag wil hê dit moet nou stop, dis nie meer oor praat nie, ek sal dit so verkies.
Thank you very much.